Ever wondered which songs shocked the world before the internet made outrage a daily occurrence? When you see controversial songs from the 70s, you're probably asking yourself, were songs really that scandalous back then? How did they push boundaries without explicit lyrics warnings? And what made these particular tracks so notorious that people still talk about them decades later? The 1970s weren't just bell-bottoms and disco balls. It was an era when musicians used their platforms to challenge authority, break taboos, and reflect the rapidly changing social landscape. Today, we're diving into 10 songs that caused genuine uproar, got banned from radio stations, and in some cases, changed music history forever. What's up, music lovers? Welcome back to the channel where we explore the stories behind the songs that shaped our culture. The 1970s was a transformative decade. Musicians weren't just entertainers. They were becoming powerful voices for change and controversy. Some pushed boundaries deliberately, while others simply told truths that society wasn't ready to hear. From sex and drugs to politics and religion, nothing was off limits, and the establishment wasn't always happy about it. So grab your headphones as we count down 10 songs that shocked, outraged, and ultimately transformed the musical landscape of the 1970s. Let's drop the needle on some seriously controversial vinyl. Song number 1, God Save the Queen by Sex Pistols, 1977. Our journey into musical controversy begins with what might be the most deliberately provocative song of the decade. Released during Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee celebrations, the Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen wasn't just controversial, it was considered an act of cultural treason. Johnny Rotten's sneering declaration that there is no future in England's dreaming and that the monarchy was a fascist regime sent shockwaves through British society. The BBC immediately banned the song, and many retailers refused to stock it. Some radio DJs who played it were suspended. Despite being effectively blacklisted, the song reached number 2 on the official UK charts, though many believe it actually sold enough to be number 1, with the charts manipulated to avoid embarrassment during the Jubilee. The song's legacy extends beyond its anti-monarchist message. It represented punk's arrival as a genuine cultural force that could frighten the establishment. Nearly 50 years later, its raw energy and defiance still feel revolutionary.
In these days, changing ways, so-called liberated day.
Song number 2, Killing of Georgie by Rod Stewart, 1976. Moving from political controversy to social taboos, Rod Stewart's The Killing of Georgie stands as a landmark in mainstream music. This narrative ballad tells the heartbreaking story of a gay man who's rejected by his family, finds acceptance in New York City, and is ultimately murdered in a hate crime. What makes this song truly groundbreaking is that it was released at a time when positive representations of LGBTQ+ individuals in pop culture were virtually non-existent. Many radio stations refused to play it, considering the subject too controversial for audiences in 1976. Stewart, primarily known for his rock and love songs, took a significant risk with this compassionate portrayal. The song's matter-of-fact approach to Georgie's sexuality and the clear condemnation of the violence against him made it a quiet revolution in mainstream rock. Today, it's recognized as one of the first pop songs to tackle homophobia and hate crimes with empathy and dignity. Song number 3, Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones, 1971. The Stones were no strangers to controversy, but Brown Sugar stands as perhaps their most problematic hit. Opening with one of rock's most recognizable guitar riffs, the song's infectious groove masks deeply troubling lyrics about slavery, sexual violence, and racial fetishization. Even in the early 70s, critics raised eyebrows at Jagger's explicit references to slave ships, whippings, and interracial sexual encounters described in crude terms. Despite, or perhaps because of, its taboo subject, the song became a massive hit and concert staple. In recent years, the band has faced increasing criticism for the song's content, with Jagger himself acknowledging its problematic nature. In 2021, the band finally removed it from their live set list. Brown Sugar remains a complex cultural artifact, a brilliant rock composition with lyrics that reflect the casual cultural insensitivity of its era, raising questions about art, accountability, and how we reckon with problematic classics.
Imagine all the people.
Song number 4, Imagine by John Lennon, 1971. It might surprise younger viewers that one of the most beloved peace anthems of all time was once considered dangerously radical. John Lennon's gentle piano ballad Imagine envisioned a world without countries, religion, or possessions, concepts that many religious and conservative groups found deeply offensive. Coming from a former Beatle who had already stirred controversy by claiming the band was more popular than Jesus, the song's secular humanist message was interpreted as an attack on religious values. Several religious organizations called for boycotts, and many southern U.S. radio stations refused to play it. The irony of this soft-spoken plea for unity causing such division wasn't lost on Lennon, who later commented that the sugar-coating of the revolutionary message was intentional. He wanted to deliver radical ideas in a package palatable enough to reach the mainstream. His strategy worked. Today, Imagine is frequently voted one of the greatest songs of all time. Its once controversial message now embraced across the political spectrum.
Sugar Plum Fairy came and hit the streets. Look at the
Song number 5, Walk on the Wild Side by Lou Reed, 1972. Lou Reed's biggest commercial hit took listeners on a journey through the underground world of Andy Warhol's Factory and New York's transgender subculture, territory virtually untouched by mainstream music at the time. With its instantly recognizable bass line and doo-doo-doo backing vocals, Walk on the Wild Side smuggled taboo subjects like transgender identity, male prostitution, and oral sex onto radio stations worldwide. Remarkably, many censors missed the song's explicit references, allowing it to receive widespread airplay, despite lyrics that openly discussed giving head in characters who plucked their eyebrows on the way, shaved their legs, and then he was a she. The song's matter-of-fact portrayal of transgender individuals as simply part of the fabric of New York life was revolutionary for 1972. While some modern critics have questioned aspects of Reed's portrayal, the song remains significant for bringing visibility to marginalized communities decades before mainstream culture was ready to acknowledge them. Song number 6, Anarchy in the UK by Sex Pistols, 1976. The Sex Pistols make their second appearance on our list with the rallying cry that launched British punk into the mainstream consciousness. Anarchy in the UK wasn't just controversial for its lyrics promoting destruction and chaos. It represented an existential threat to the British establishment, already struggling with economic decline and social unrest. When Johnny Rotten snarled, "I am an antichrist, I am an anarchist," he wasn't just being provocative. He was articulating the nihilistic rage of a generation that felt abandoned by society. The song's release coincided with the band's notorious appearance on the Today program, where their profanity-laden interview with Bill Grundy caused national outrage and got the presenter fired. The resulting moral panic led to venues canceling their performances and their record label EMI dropping them just months after signing. The controversy only fueled their notoriety, cementing their place in music history and inspiring countless youth to embrace punk's DIY ethos. Song number 7, War by Edwin Starr, 1970. While not as explicitly controversial as some entries on our list, Edwin Starr's War stands as one of the most powerful anti-war statements in popular music history. Released at the height of the Vietnam conflict, its unflinching chorus, "War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing," struck a nerve in a deeply divided America. The song was originally recorded by The Temptations, but Motown deemed its message too political for the group's image and reassigned it to Starr. The decision proved commercially sound. Starr's passionate delivery helped the song reach #1 on the Billboard charts, despite being boycotted by many mainstream radio stations and military bases. The Pentagon was reportedly so concerned about the song's impact on morale and recruitment that they pressured stations not to play it. War became an anthem for the anti-Vietnam movement and has resurfaced during every major American military conflict since. Its blunt rejection of warfare and refusal to glorify combat continues to resonate half a century later. Song number 8, Cocaine by Eric Clapton, 1977. Eric Clapton's cover of Jerry J. Cale's Cocaine became one of the most misunderstood songs of the decade. Its driving rhythm and seemingly celebratory chorus made it an instant rock classic, but its message about drug use sparked immediate controversy. While Clapton later insisted the song was anti-drug, with the key line, "She doesn't lie," suggesting cocaine's false promises, many listeners and critics interpreted it as glorifying cocaine use during an era when the drug was becoming increasingly popular. Several radio stations banned the track, believing it promoted substance abuse, while addiction counselors warned about its potential influence on vulnerable listeners. The song's ambiguous messaging, neither explicitly condemning nor celebrating drug use, made it particularly controversial. Clapton himself struggled with addiction during this period, adding another layer of complexity to the song's legacy. In later years, he would add the line, "that dirty cocaine," in live performances to clarify his stance. But the original recording's ambiguity ensures that debates about its message continued decades later. Eric Clapton's cover of George J. Cale's Cocaine became one of the most misunderstood songs of the decade. Its driving rhythm and seemingly celebratory chorus made it an instant rock classic, but its message about drug use sparked immediate controversy. While Clapton later insisted the song was anti-drug, with the key line, "She don't lie," suggesting cocaine's false promises, many listeners and critics interpreted it as glorifying cocaine use during an era when the drug was becoming increasingly popular. Song number 9, Sick Again by Led Zeppelin, 1975. While not as explicitly controversial as some entries on our list, Led Zeppelin's Sick Again from 1975, their 1975 album Physical Graffiti, subtly contributed to one of rock's most disturbing aspects, the glorification of relationships with underage groupies. The song was written about the infamous baby groupies of Los Angeles, some as young as 14, who followed rock bands in the early 70s. Robert Plant's lyrics about teenage queen, who's a ready-made queen who's old enough to bleed enough, were thinly veiled references to these young girls. Unlike some of the other songs on our list, the controversy around Sick Again has grown rather than diminished with time, as modern audiences have become increasingly uncomfortable with rock's casual attitude towards statutory relationships. The song represents a dark aspect of 70s rock culture that was largely ignored at the time, the sexual exploitation of minors by rock stars. What makes the track particularly disturbing is its melancholy tone, suggesting Plant recognized the tragedy of these girls' situations while simultaneously romanticizing them. Sick Again serves as a reminder of how behavior that was once accepted or even celebrated in the rock world has rightly become recognized as predatory and harmful. Song number 10, The Pill by Loretta Lynn, 1975. We conclude our journey through controversial 70s music with a song that broke barriers in country music. Loretta Lynn's The Pill tackled the then taboo subject of birth control with remarkable frankness. Released just a few years after oral contraceptives became widely available to American women, the song celebrates reproductive freedom from a female perspective. Lynn's straightforward lyrics about how birth control pills would allow women to be sexually liberated without constant pregnancy scandalized conservative country music stations. Many refused to play it, with some religious groups calling it an attack on family values. Despite the backlash, or perhaps because of it, the song became Lynn's highest-charting pop crossover hit. What makes The Pill particularly significant is Lynn's status as a traditional country artist speaking directly to rural women about reproductive rights. Lynn later stated that women would approach her at concerts to thank her for introducing them to the concept of birth control. The controversy surrounding the song highlighted the changing role of women in American society and the music industry's discomfort with female artists addressing reproductive autonomy. From political protest to sexual liberation, these 10 songs pushed boundaries and challenged the status quo in ways that changed music forever. They remind us that great art often emerges from controversy, forcing difficult conversations and expanding what's possible in popular culture. Many of these songs were banned, boycotted, or condemned upon release, yet they've endured as powerful statements of their era. What's particularly fascinating is how society's standards shift over time. Lyrics that once caused outrage might barely raise an eyebrow today, while others reveal problematic aspects we're only now beginning to fully address. If this dive into musical controversy sparked your interest, don't let the conversation end here. Hit that subscribe button to join our community of music history enthusiasts. Drop a comment letting me know which controversial song from the 70s resonated most with you, or share one you think should have made the list. If you enjoyed this exploration of music that pushed boundaries, smash that like button to help others discover this content. And for more deep dives into the songs that shaped our culture, check out our playlist on revolutionary music through the decades. Until next time, keep your ears open and your mind even more so. Peace out.